Happy Sunday morning. I've been doing a little bit of writing about the life of Job. And we've heard the story that Job lost his wealth and he lost his children, he lost his livelihood, and for a time he lost his health. And then toward the end of the book of Job, he realizes how small he is in comparison to the sovereign God. And he says this in chapter 42, verse 5, I had only heard about you before, but now I have seen you with my own eyes. I take back everything I said, and I sit in dust and ashes to show my repentance. And I think about that word, ashes, and how oftentimes our own lives feel like just a pile of ashes, whether we're sitting on those ashes because of something that we have done that's caused our life so much destruction, or whether we've had something done to us that caused our lives to feel like we were sitting on a pile of ashes, that everything we've ever known has been burned down to nothing. And I think Job in a lot of ways probably felt that way, that everything that he had been burnt down to ashes, that there was nothing that could be done, that he didn't have the ability to fix his problem. And yet God is a restorer. He is a restorative God. And so he takes what seems like it cannot be fixed in our lives, and he recreates and he makes something beautiful out of it. Toward the end of the chapter, in verse 12, it says, So the Lord blessed Job in the second half of his life even more than in the beginning. Job lived 140 years after that, living to see 4 generations of his children and grandchildren. Then he died, an old man who had lived a long, full life. To have gone through what Job experienced, and then at the end of his life to be able to say that he had lived a long, full life, and that God had restored to him not only what he lost, but he blessed him even more greatly. And I think about this ornament from the Christmas tree that I think I've mentioned it probably in a Sunday morning coffee before, but my mother gave me this. And from back in the 1980, 81, I believe, there was an eruption, a volcanic eruption, Mount St. Helens. And so much destruction was caused by that volcanic eruption. And the ashes that were left, some glass blowers took some of the ashes and used them to blow these glass ornaments for Christmas trees. So beautiful, just iridescent. When the light shines through them, they make beautiful ornaments for the Christmas tree. Something that had been so burned and so destroyed, ashes, was taken to make something so beautiful. Our lives really are no different than Job's, or the process for this ornament to be made. God takes great glory, great pleasure in restoring and making something beautiful out of what gets ruined or destroyed in our lives. And it's not God who desires that destruction, but it is God who brings restoration and beauty out of something that can be so destructive. I encourage you, if you're walking through a time of difficulty, if this season of this holiday season for some reason reminds you of brokenness in your own life, just lean into the one who restores us. Lean into the one who can take something so broken and make something absolutely beautiful out of it. He will. He promises he will. He's faithful, and you can trust him, just like Job did. Job trusted that God would do something to bring about a restoration of relationship, a restoration of life itself in Job. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and I will see you next week.